The second quarter of 2026 has arrived, and in this quarter, our focus is a family affair. Thank you for joining Conversations with Chosen Pen. It is Dr. Anissa Short, and you should know in this quarter we are focused on the family. Absolutely. In April, our theme is Children, Our Future. In the month of May, it's the women that wear the hats. And in the month of June, our focus is men at work. Thank you as always for your support and joining us each week. Thank you as well for commenting, and sharing your favorite podcast. Today's podcast is underway. We hope you enjoy the show. Hey, great Tuesday, great Tuesday, great Tuesday. Once again, it's Dr. Anissa Short with Conversations with Chosen Pen. And as with previous Tuesdays, I've got another phenomenal guest. We are kicking off the month of May like rock stars. The month of May has Teachers Appreciation. It has Nurses Appreciation. It has Women's Health. It is Mental Health Awareness. It is all of that and a bag of chips. And what I decided to do was to try to mix it all up, have my guests representing in all capacities so we could cover all of our bases. And my guest today is a friend of mine that I have known for years. She hails from the great state of North Carolina. Michelle McKenney is a former soldier. She's a veteran, served 20 some odd years with the military. She is an entrepreneur. She is an author. She is a wife. She is I don't think you call grandma Gigi. Mima. She's a Mima. She is a mommy to pups, dogs, and she's got grands, blended family, all the nines. When we talk about women wearing the hats, this is what it looks like. Michelle, thank you so much, my friend, for jumping on today. How have you been?
I am amazing, since I am now blessed to be in your honor this
Oh,
evening.
girl, there you go. Just keep talking. Just keep talking. Why don't you? Listen, Michelle and I met when I lived in Fayetteville, North Carolina. As a matter of fact, she was referred to me by a mutual friend to be a part of a literary project that I curated. And we have been together like glue since then. We've shopped together. We've had girlfriend chit chats together. We've done lunch together. We have vented. She's a safe ear. I'm a safe ear for her. And in the world of sisterhood, that's what it's all about. That's another hat that we wear. We wear the hat of being friend and confidant. Michelle, tell everybody a little bit about what a typical day is like for you as a mom that wears the hats, or the woman that wears the hats.
So my day starts early in the morning, 5 o'clock. I spend my time praying, meditating, get up, work out. Then I tend to now currently 8 dogs,
Oh my
4
gosh.
grown and 4 pups. Get them together. Then my husband gets up, he goes and walks, helps me get together. And then I'm out the door by 7:30 to start making people feel beautiful in their skin from inside out.
I love it. So Michelle, not long ago, opened her own esthetician spa. She's an esthetician, and she makes people feel good. But before that journey, one of the things I knew about her was she's a mental health advocate, mental health professional. She and her husband both have been in the mental health space for a while. And so, Michelle, because you work with women, because you are a woman, because you served in the military, high level leadership capacity, you understand the need for taking care of oneself. What would you offer in the way of advice to women? Well, let's just say people, period, but especially women that's wearing all the hats. Just 2 or 3 maybe practical tips they could do to maintain their sanity and to protect their mental health.
Take a moment and just sit in a quiet space and just sit still.
Oh, wow.
For at least 5 minutes. At least 5 minutes. That time is for you. Specifically when you wake up in the morning. That's for you. Then we praise our higher being, whoever you serve. And then we start our day. Also, give yourself grace.
I love it.
You might not be able to accomplish everything that's on your things to do list by the sun goes down. Tomorrow's another day. And when you feel your gut telling you something, listen to it.
I love that. I love that. I just had a conversation today. Well, to your points, let me just add this. I find that my day goes better when I started off with quiet time. When I take time to read, have a conversation with God, whether you want to call it prayer or venting or whatever, but I just believe in that my source and my strength. He's my provider and my provision and protector. So, when I start my day off, it seems to go a lot better. And then to your point about taking a minute, listen, I jokingly told y'all I started scheduling rest therapy in my
Yes.
day. And I sit still for 30 minutes to an hour, hour and a half, depending on the course of my day. And that rest therapy might develop into a nap, whatever it
Yes.
does. But I know that taking a pause, and in Mexico and other countries, they take like a siesta. Other
Mm-hmm.
countries practice
Mm-hmm.
the need for rest. And I really believe that adds years to your life. I wouldn't
Absolutely.
doubt that at all. And then of
Absolutely.
course, to your point of following your intuition, following that gut, following that, Holy Spirit, or following that voice. I just had a conversation with a lady who referenced dating a guy and having, intimate relationships with him, and he didn't want to use protection, and her mind told her no, and she went along with the process, whatever, you know what I'm saying, and then of being diagnosed with HIV within a week or
Mm.
two, within a little while, and she knew that it was, but she should have followed her. How many times do we, because we're rushed, because we're stressed, because we're overwhelmed, because we don't sit still and take a breather, that we make decisions against our better judgment and regret it, you
Absolutely.
know? Oh
Absolutely.
wow. Any other
Absolutely.
any other bit of advice when we comes to protecting our mental space?
Learn to say no.
Oh, is it a complete sentence, friend? No.
No.
I
No.
love that. I love that.
No. And I love her to death, Mel Robbins. Let it be.
Yeah.
If I cannot affect change specifically on it, let it be.
I love it. I love
Let it
that.
be. Let it be.
2 weeks ago, I was a part of a women's luncheon here. And that was one of the things I even shared is that, no is a complete sentence. And we need to learn to use that more often. I think a lot of times we wear the many hats that we wear is because we don't say no to some things. And we find
Absolutely.
ourselves overwhelmed,
Mm-hmm.
stressed to no point,
Mm-hmm.
frustrated sometimes because we've taken on more than we can chew. And
Mm-hmm.
then we begin to suffer
Mm-hmm.
mentally because of that, because
Mm-hmm.
we're just overwhelmed. I
Mm-hmm.
said, now in the South,
Mm-hmm.
women in the South were taught to be nice and genteel. So I said, so if you need to
Mm-hmm.
find another way to say it, if no is too harsh, say something like, oh my goodness, that sounds amazing, but I'm not going to be able to attend. You know,
Mm-hmm.
add the little syrup on the front end so they can
All
take
right.
it better.
That's right.
When I just believe that we sometimes we wear too many hats
Mm-hmm.
because we fail to say no when we should. Do you agree
Mm-hmm.
with that?
I do, and I even sometimes now I'm doing a better job with that because of my relationship is getting stronger with God.
Yeah,
Um, However, I still catch myself sometimes, thinking like, well, it's not going to take that long. However, on the back end, then you don't get what you need to really get done to prioritize because
yeah,
now you poured into that,
yeah,
right?
right.
So is that really honoring ourselves? Not
Not
really.
not
Not
really.
really.
Yeah. A
Not
friend of
really.
mine here talks about the that she starts looking at everything from a capacity standpoint. She says she may have the time on her calendar, but does she have the capacity?
Capacity.
And to your point, she makes reference to that. Yeah, she might have the 2 or 3 hours to spare to help someone do this, that, and the third. But if she were to do that, would that have her overstretched or stressed
Mhm.
out or over obligated to the point that she can't give her all to the things that she really needs to do. So she starts
Mhm.
looking at everything from a place of capacity. Yes, she has the time, but she doesn't have the capacity for it. And I love that frame of thought. I really do. I really do.
I
So
I live like that now.
I know capacity means everything. So I want to share with you guys an awesome book that Michelle is responsible for bringing to life, Unshaken.
Yes.
Listen, this is a devotional, and this devotional will it talks about building resilience through faith and self-care, again alluding to who what she is and what she represents, being in the mental health space. She understands the necessity for self-care, but she combined it with faith, and how faith and self-care go hand in hand. Michelle,
Mhm.
why this book? Tell us a little bit about it.
So I thought about this book after all those other nights that we always are talking about writing, and you telling me to put my thoughts to write to paper. I felt like it's some we still have some sort of a stigma with people trying to reach out and be very vulnerable and transparent to
Mm-hmm.
find safe spaces to talk about the things that gives them pause, right?
Right.
Those intrusive thoughts. So I wanted to give an outlet to human beings, period. If you can read, you can read this book. Um, Specifically if you have some type of emotional learning, social learning, you if you can think about yourself and make a decision on, hey, how this made me feel, then this book is definitely for you. And it's on everyday things that we struggle with. For example, um, there's one day that talks about specifically to young adolescents, teens, that when they're at school and you have a friend that's always joking, but are they really joking or they really have something going on there? Because a lot of times we project
Right.
onto people. So those type of we think are jokes like, hey, you think you're so smart, you're not smart, you're just stupid, or this little thing of mine. We really have to pay attention to those
Yeah.
because that might not be a reflection of us, but that's definitely not something that is kind to say to
Yes.
somebody that we care about.
Right.
And
Right.
how would you deal with that? How do you walk through that? How do you talk yourself through that so you're able to identify that next time so then you're able to pivot?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And that's one of the things I love about the book is that you take everyday possible scenarios for, males, females, this what I call life circumstances, life situations, things that we might face on any given day. You bring to light the possibility of what that looks like. You redirect the chain of thought pertaining to that circumstance so we could think a new thought, and then as you said, to be able to pivot so we don't take on the burden. We could easily, or in a better place, become find ourselves in a better place so we can release the burden, right?
Mhm.
And then you offer the author or the reader an opportunity to journal, which is so good. Journaling is an excellent self-help mental therapy tool. Can you speak a little bit to that, Michelle?
So I really didn't realize the power of journaling. I did it as a child, and it's so funny. You and I have talked about this, going back to this inner child. Um, is the evolution of healing and
Yeah.
going through healing that you resort back to how you were when you were innocent, when you were 2, 3, 4 years old,
Mm-hmm.
before we started being able to emulate things and be inspired by certain things.
Right.
And I used to write then, wrote
Mm-hmm.
poetry and all that. But however, what I've seen now in my mental health journey, that it helps me decrease the mind chatter and then really be able to differentiate emotions, feelings, and thoughts and facts.
Yeah,
So
that's
then you're
good.
able to have clarity instead of confusion.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely. I never thought about I jokingly said this, I think it was just yesterday in a conversation, that everything that we really needed to live a quality of life we learned in kindergarten. Take naps, share, make friends, take color and
Yeah.
journal and write,
Yeah.
and those types of things when you look at the mental health space. And
Physical
even in the
physical fitness.
exact all of that, making sure you walk or do the
Mhm.
exercise, run and play. So, the things that we did in kindergarten, which we thought were juvenile activities, were really quality of life decisions,
Yes.
quality of life activities. And when we take on our roles as adults and start wearing the many hats, we forget
Yes.
about those things and we think they're trivial or there's no value in them. But when I realized that many mental health therapists encourage the journaling,
Yes.
they
Yes.
give their clients coloring books to use as a
Yes.
tool, and they
Yes.
encourage the exercise and the walking and things of that nature, even the diet. There's so much that we don't think about, we just but they bring it all back to, like you
Mhm.
said, your child. What were you doing at 4, 5, and 6 years old when life was easy?
Mhm.
Those are the
Mm-hmm.
things we need to choose to incorporate back into our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So let's shift, because listen, first of all, y'all go to Amazon and get this book, okay?
That's right.
Unshaken. Make sure you get your copy, or get a copy for someone that
Mm-hmm.
okay. The paperback is $14.99. It's available now on Amazon. Go ahead and just get a copy. This is an excellent tool. It's a 30-day devotional that provides a comprehensive and engaging format that encourages people to explore their mental health through a faith-based lens. Each day focuses on key themes relevant to mental well-being, while providing a practical tools, reflections, and spiritual guidance. You want to add this, trust me, to your library and to share it with a friend. But now, since that time and now, my friend went to school,
Yes.
got her certifications, and did the necessary things. And just as I left North Carolina, all the exciting stuff happened. But that's okay. I'm not going to hold it. I'm just glad it's exciting stuff. So when I come back to visit, I have lots of things to catch up on.
That's
But
right.
she has started something else that I want to share with you all. You have got to plug in, especially if you live in the Fayetteville, Cumberland County general area. You want to go and visit Unstoppable Aesthetics. Listen, y'all have got to see this awesome image that's on her cover page. Listen, we just an AI'd ourselves, and I just love it. I
Yes.
love it. So,
Yes.
Unstoppable Aesthetics. Now, what made you decide to make this pivot, Michelle?
Back to inner child. So I've always originally I wanted to be a meteorologist, right?
Okay.
And then because I thought the clouds were real cool, I was a nerd in school. And then I said, I want to be a lawyer. And then my sister was like, no, I want to be a lawyer. I was like, well, I can't do that. We don't need two lawyers. And then my mom, I used to always be fascinated with my mom doing her makeup. I just didn't want to wear makeup because I was a little bit of a tomboy.
Mm-hmm.
But I always thought it was cool about our skin because
Yeah.
cellular biology. And it's something about making people feel good about themselves. That's another way of serving. So
Yeah.
I had knew from day one when I was a child, I was a parentified daughter. Then I went into the army. Then I stayed in the army. Then I did mental health. So I already knew what my assignment was always is to serve.
Yeah.
However, this time God decided it's time now. I
Right.
wasn't I wasn't equipped the way he wanted me to be equipped. So now we're doing what we really always wanted to do was to make people feel beautiful and help them treat their skin from the inside out, whether it's on their face or their body, just their skin
Gotcha.
period. That's our largest organ that we have.
Oregon. Exactly. Now, really, this journey really started first with Ugly Essentials, if truth be told.
Yes.
And ugly is
Yes.
an acronym, you guys, for you've got to love yourself. It's a vegan hair skincare line, body care, things
Mhm.
of that nature. Let's talk about Ugly Essentials, because really it started there and it evolved to this. Is that fair to say?
Yes, it did because when I was doing mental health, I always did with my clients vision boards because I think if you can see what you want to do, then that's a goal that will keep you somewhat structured and prioritize when you have a plan.
Right.
So we were doing it, and I always used to say to my clients, I'm pick them up, ask them how they're doing, did they eat, whatever. And then when we were at the house doing it, and then we were going over it, and she had ugly on there, and I was like, well, what is that for? What does that mean to you? And she said, well, Miss McKenney, you always tell me that you got to love yourself before you can love anybody else.
Oh, wow.
So that was the inception of Ugly Essentials,
Right. And Ugly
and
Essentials is a vegan skincare. You still have that, because
yes,
you've
I
got
do.
those products are available in like retail outlets and even at
Yes,
salons. Is that correct?
yes, yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
it
I felt
is.
like your Unstoppable Aesthetics was a perfect graduation from what you're not really, well, the
Yes.
next step. It just made sense for you to go to
Yes.
school. And this, so how has business been? Now, listen, you guys. I hope you guys are keeping up with what I'm saying. We've already talked about her having 8 dogs. She's married. She's got grandchildren. She has a blended family. She served in the military as a veteran. So, as a result of her military service, she has her own mental health wellness. She's doing what's necessary for her own self care. She's written and authored a book and been a part of other literary projects. I didn't say that. She started a skincare line. Okay. And now she has her own spa. as an esthetician. When we talk about wearing the hats, listen, is this not a perfect example of what that looks like? How has business been, Michelle?
Amazing. Amazing. I I'm a crier.
I know. I knew this was happening. Just grab your tissue, clench, take a deep breath. I'm excited for you because it was a natural progression. As I said before, you were very conscientious. And let me just share this backstory, if I may. Michelle has survived cancer. She's had multiple diagnoses of cancer. And one of the things that led to Ugly Essentials is because in the process of going through her treatments and recovering, she found it hard to find products that she could use that were not cancer causing.
Yeah.
And in superwoman fashion, what she decided, instead of complaining about the fact that there were not very many items available, she just decided to become the solution. And so she started the skincare line, Ugly Essentials, as a result of the need for what she experienced herself. But she says, well, if I'm dealing with this, there are definitely others. So now the natural progression to your being an esthetician, you bring so much to the table, Michelle. When a
Yeah.
person comes for her facial, it's not just about the spa experience as much as
No.
it is. It's about knowing that you are the person that's going to use quality products, that's going to provide them with a holistic outlook on how to care for their skin because of the things that you've dealt with and you've been exposed to. Is that fair to say? Tell us a little bit
Absolutely.
more about that.
Absolutely. And not only that, like I still suffer from things. It's been
Yeah.
only 6 years now that I've been off chemotherapy. And so I still have remnants
Yeah.
of things, you know. As for my skin concerns, I have melasma on my face. So, I deal with hyperpigmentation, I deal with texture issues. So it just made sense to go ahead. It was time,
Yeah.
and then to be able to afford to offer that to our community.
Yeah.
Um, and specifically talk about those things. Holistic
Yes.
aesthetics is still kind of new in aesthetics industry. We're all plant based, and there's some different other modalities don't work with it, such as some advanced modalities. So then I have to use different, just regular modern protocols for that.
Mm-hmm.
However, I look at everything. I look at what stress you're going through. What are you eating? Because this is why our mind, our head, and our gut are connected.
Yeah.
So mental health is important in that, and your skin, because if you're
Yes.
stressed out, that's inflammation in the body that comes up
Yeah.
like acne.
Yes.
If you're picking at it, then you're going to end up having dark spots. That's hyperpigmentation.
Right.
So now we're into corrective. However, you don't have to, it doesn't have to hurt when you have corrective things to do on your skin. It shouldn't always just be like almost like you're going to the dentist. You should still be able to relax while
Exactly.
we're taking care of that hyperpigmentation or those scarring because you were a picker from acne when you were a
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
You should still be able to fall asleep and rest and have that mind regulated. So that nervous system is really all about um regulating that nervous system.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. And I love the fact that you bring that all to the table. So in your consultation, so person can, when one comes to you, is not just simply about the spa experience. Well, it is about the spa experience, but the spa experience with you is all inclusive. You have
Yes.
conversation to be able to address things that people may not even think about when it comes to having a facial. I love
Yes.
that for you. What kind of things you got going for Mother's Day? You got any Mother's Day promos going on for Mother's
Yes,
Day?
so it's already on the website. So we're doing percentages off of products, all our products, and to include our services.
Okay, excellent. So you guys check her out, Unstoppable Aesthetics, located in the city of Fayetteville, North Carolina, for those of you who are driving distance, 414 Ray Avenue. And then the phone number, there's an 800 number on the Facebook. Is that correct for them to use?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
877-518-3778.
3773.
Then that's going to be for booking, I would assume. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Or they can go
Excellent.
straight click to the website.
Okay, great. So you guys can find her on Facebook, where I'm Unstoppable Aesthetics. And then, of course, you want to call to book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to provide this on the screen because I want everybody to be able to see it now, and if not later. So definitely, you want an all-inclusive experience. You want a holistic experience. You want a plant-based experience. You want to have an experience with someone who knows what they're talking about because they lived it and they believe in it. It's not just something that they're doing, but they're sold out to the process and to do it with the spirit of excellence. Then you need to contact my friend Michelle McKenney at 877-518-3778. Michelle, what are your closing remarks as we close out this session of Women Who Wear the Hats?
Think about you. You know, it's something that we talk about every time we get on an airplane and the flight attendant comes out and they're giving their speech. And then we're talking about when the oxygen comes down, who are we supposed to mask up first? Ourselves.
Right.
Right. So we need to think about ourselves. If we don't think about ourselves, we can't. We say this all the time, we can't pour from an empty cup, but truly we cannot.
We
So
cannot.
we're and this there's a lot of things that's going on in society that is causing us to be in a very deregulated way. So we need to ensure that we are the best version of ourselves, and when we do that, we think about us. Mindfulness
Yes.
things. Think about just having some time for yourself, just to decompress those things in your mind, because the mind is so powerful that if we let it take control, it'll have us out here doing all kinds of crazy
It really
things.
will. Everything begins with a thought. And the
Right.
best way to control your thoughts is to do what's necessary to maintain a peaceful place. I love it.
Yes.
Thank you again, Michelle, for hanging out with me today, for being the first one to kick off this month of May when we talk about women wearing the hats. I sincerely appreciate you and your friendship, and I will be planning to be back in your area sometime in July. I'll have my people contact your people so that you're
That's
in the
it.
know.
All right. That's what I
Well,
like.
well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Conversations with Chosen Pen. Thank you so much for hanging out with us in this space. We'll be back again next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. This month of May is all about
Mhm.
women that wear the hats. We're focused on the family this quarter, and I hope you choose to not
Mhm.
only join us, but to like, comment, and share. Until next week, make it a great one. You guys take care. Bye bye.